Well, here we go. I suppose I should apologise. My 1 month off has turned into, well, how many? 2 months. 2 months. My apologies for that, but I was actually quite tired and a little bit jaded. But now I'm just about retired. It's interesting as to what I'm going to do. From the 26th of September, I shall be unemployed. First time in 50 years. That's half a century. Oh. Maybe I won't go that far. Yeah, no, 50 years. It's half a century, isn't it? So, what can I tell you? Next week, I'll probably be back doing some videos. Be slightly different from what we've had so far. Much more at Sunnyside, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And we should have some news about Eggleston, some quite exciting news I hope, but I'll let you know that next week. It's been a difficult time, but we're all sorted out now. I'm getting acclimatised to the impending retirement, so there you go. I want to show you around here at Sunnyside. This is the summer house. I've re-roofed this so I can sit in here now until the new workshop's built, which is going to be opposite the other side of the pond, which is another job to do. So we'll be doing some pond work in the winter and spring. It's a bit of a mess, I'll show you that. But Sunnyside is coming along, and once we get the new workshop built, we'll go into quite a lot of depth about propagating plants and various other things. We might pop across to Eggleston sometimes. I'll see. As of now, I'm just enjoying my time. Sitting in the summer house, doing a bit of gardening, reading the local paper, the Teesdale Mercury. One of the few independent papers left, I think. I was interested in here. There is an article about the local Lord of the Manor from the Raby Estates, Lord Barnard. He's invoking something called, or registering something called manorial rights. That means people that have houses on some of his land, this wouldn't be in their deeds, he's registering his manorial rights, which means he owns all the minerals and any quarrying rights under their properties, under their land. This was never put in their deeds. It's a strange thing, it's a very English thing, you know. Apparently it's good housekeeping. Yeah, that's what they've put. Good housekeeping. He's not applying for anything he doesn't already own. Now, most people wouldn't have known this. One wonders whether good housekeeping requires a return to prima nocta. Basically, that means the Lord of the Manor can shag your daughter. But this is England. We're still very feudal. As much of an anachronism as that is. Anyway, we'll get on with the gardening, and I'll give you a little update. This is a very short video. I'll show you around Sunnyside, and then next week or the week after, we'll be back fortnightly videos again. I hope you're all well. I'm all reasonably well. We did have a bit of an accident up a tree. I always tell my people that work for me, if you're using a chainsaw, try not to cut things above your head. So I was up a ladder, cutting a branch that was above my head, and it came down and smacked me straight between the eyes. The situation is one of them things, do as I say, not as I do. I've learnt my lesson. A bit late in life, but there you go. Anyway, I haven't got a daughter the Lord of the Manor can shag, so I don't need to lock her up. I am aware that I haven't made very many videos of late. My 1 month has turned into 2 months, 3 months. This is because I've had a lot of things to sort out, and seeing what was going on at Eggleston, which I'll update you on probably in a week or two. But my retirement is beckoning, and it's effectively over for me very soon. Not over in the finality of life sort of sense, but in the sense that my time here is done. Now look at this. Rudbeckia. Beautiful. I mean, it's a daisy, but it's lovely. This is a lovely, interesting Echinacea. It's proved to be very hardy. It's Echinacea green twister. Looks really nice with the Rudbeckia and the ponytail grass, Stipa tenuissima, and the Lobelia cardinalis. Over the back there is an ordinary Rudbeckia, a different coloured Lobelia, and there's a bit of salvia in there and a bit more of a red Lobelia. Here, these are the flowers of Nandina domestica. That sounds more like a botanical exploration. Look at these plums. And down here, this is just coming into flower. The late flowering plants are lovely, aren't they? This is Eupatorium. Yeah, getting back to it's you know, I retire now in about, I don't know, what is it today, the 12th of September, so I've got about 18 days, and most of those aren't spent here at Eggleston. So it's very exciting. There'll be much more stuff from the Sunnyside garden. I'm having a workshop built, so that's not until the spring, so we're going to be filming quite a lot of stuff from there. You know, how to do stuff, a little bit more in-depth propagation stuff, and it'll be quite cozy. A new potting shed almost. I'd still probably come here if they're stuck, but I've no real desire to. It's strange, really. You spend 50 years doing something and you then wonder, you know, you're defined by what you do very much in this life, and you know, you think once you're not coming here and your job is effectively over, how do you define yourself? It's a very strange feeling. At the same time, you don't have the energy to do what you used to do. Let's get back to plants. The spireas. There's that variegated spirea, Van Houtii or pink ice or whatever it is. Yeah. Looks bloody sick to me. The magical series of Hypericums. We have a whole range of these. They're very, very nice. Lovely flower arrangers go crackers over them because of the berries. They hold their colour for so long. Cornus. The coloured stemmed cornus. Now, they're very nice, but sometimes they can be really boring. The problem is, because I mean, this is the flavescens. You can see it has the nice green stems, and this is the Sibirica. It has the red stems. Now, in the winter, but in the summer they just look like a blank lump of green. But this one here has the red stems, and this is Sibirica variegata. But it also has this nice bright variegation in the summer, so it kind of lifts a garden. Excuse my sniffing, I seem to have developed old man's nose. Yeah. What about the dewdrops? Where do they come from? They're the ones you get on your router. It hangs there and then comes off at the most inopportune moments. Very frustrating. This morning I'm going to be watering, because that's what I've got to do. Right. You can see this year we've had such a busy year. There's beds that are empty, and the tree section, you know, there's loads missing. Look at all those gaps up there. And this whole side of the garden last year was full of trees right the way up. And now we're just putting out perennials on them because so many of the trees have been sold. And over this side, where we had, a year or two back, we had massive, great big cedars and things, all gone. Strange how every crisis has an opportunity. And for us, I mean, these last 2 years, I mean, we thought we would be on ruin with COVID and that, but gardening has become so popular. Whether it will stay that way, I don't know, but yeah, I hope so. Yeah, sold. Some of these plants are sold as well. You'll see these liquid ambers are just about to start changing colour. And there's Prunus, I mean, it's the 12th of September, and there's Prunus sargentii already changing colour. Is that like a bloody eclipse here?
Hello.
Hello, Clara.
So lovely.
Yeah.
Just need to...
A full moon over Eggleston.
A couple plants have fallen over, so when it's not windy, always remember to stand your plants back up, because I think it was a bit windy last night, so but it's nice to have had a bit of rain and just looks so still, and with those geums, you know, the flowers.
Yeah.
I think they look really pretty.
They do.
Yeah, we've only got one quite.
Do you not think there's like a sad feel though this time of the year when summer starts to look like it's over? And
It is sad because it's so nice when it's summer. It's like everything, you know.
yeah.
It looks so pretty, but
Yeah.
and then like it gets so dark now so early. So
Yeah, I've noticed the night's pulling in.
but well, the best times of the year is because I get to eat all the Victorian plums
And the gauges.
Yeah, green gauges. I'm going to take a lot home tonight, and I'm going to freeze some, which will be really nice. And but the apples are not so good here, but there's still quite a few apples this year.
Bad year for apples.
And
for
they're
us.
like, you know, the Dartmouth, I think, the crab apples. So still, they look like, you know, baubles on a Christmas tree. Well, not Christmas, but not, you know. Time of year.
They do. There's a stillness this morning. It's really quite nice. Right. I'm going to look at this liquid amber. We were having a look at, we were talking about liquid ambers, but the ones in the pots are only just starting to colour up. But this one, this is Orientalis. This colours later. It has the lovely fissured bark. I don't know what I have that stake in there for. It hasn't held anything up for bloody years. But look at that one. That's Worplesdon. And that'll be a nice colour for 6-8 weeks. It just holds its colour so fantastic. I've forgotten what I was talking about. Right.
I'm getting on.
This is supposed to be a gardening session, not an erotic
Bending
cabaret.
over. It's all the bending over that's doing it.
I wondered what was blocking out the light. There is, of course, a range of grasses and arses.
Hey, Malcolm. 2 tripods.
Cheeky twat. Yeah, grasses, echinaceas. Let me show you something. We've been in here once, but one of my favourite plants. Doesn't look much at the moment because it's just been potted on. But if you've got under the trees or somewhere, it's this lovely Cornus canadensis. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. If you see it and it's surviving beautifully, it's a fantastic plant. It's a creepy ground covered dogwood. Always worth having. This is the old pond is going to be needing some serious work. But anyway, let's have a look at where we've got to and what we've been up to. I will film how we got to this stage a little bit later on in the next video or two. This is just an update. The ground is looking okay. The plants that I got a lot of repotting still to do, but the archways and the arbour, they're all finished. This is it just needs replanting now. Once the borders are tidied up, the pier in the middle is just about finished. If we go stand back here, we can see, yeah, this is it. The wires are put in, the straining wires. As I said, I'll go into more detail how we did those. I've planted them up with apple trees, took out the soil, replaced it with some fresh subsoil, not subsoil, took out the subsoil and replaced them with good topsoil, added in a bit of leaf mould, and I'll probably dress them on the top with leaf mould as well, because I intend to plant around the base of them with perhaps bulbs, trilliums, something or other, where, you know, some of them are quite shady. It's I'm really quite pleased with it. The centre part here I'm just using because I need to get a lot of gravel in, and I'll just use it as a store for gravel and then sort of fill it up with stones hardcore and level it and do something nice with it later on. The retaining walls are finished. Obviously, because of the garden slopes, I have to level it, and so it's taller one side than the other. You can see I've buried upright sleepers in to hold back the retaining wall. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm very pleased. It'll look nice once it's all grown in. The apples around the four corners and at the end are Katie. I use that because it's nice blossom, pink and white. The apples are a bright red, so they're really good. I've used an M25 rootstock. Either side is a pear, which again I'm going to espalier and probably grow up at a 45-degree angle to sort of make this an enclosed room, but enclosed by apples and pears. And then on an evening you can sit out here in this patio. There's a path to come in here, of course, but it's doing all right. This is a lovely plant. This is a Parotia, and it's just turning colour, turning into its autumn colour. Hasn't done it. This is a variety called Vanessa. If you get a normal Parotia, Parotia persica, it comes from Iran. It's sometimes called ironwood because the wood is very, very hard. This is a variety called Vanessa. The normal Parotia, the type species, Parotia persica, will grow quite wide and dense and tall. This is a variety called Vanessa, which grows much more upright and slightly more columnar, fastigiate, erect. In my younger days, I preferred to say erect. Now that's just like a past dream. These are... I've got to stop being smutty, it's so childish. There's a couple of other nice things here that I want to plant out. There's a nice sorbus there called Chinese lace. That's a lovely mountain ash, but look at the lovely foliage on it. It's a gorgeous thing. This young Durham Boss. No, it's not Durham Boss, it's Jackmontii. I can't remember which variety now. I think it might just be straight Jackmontii, but you can see how the bark is changing its colour into its white form. The juvenile bark is going now. They usually do this in about the second or third year. Other white stem varieties take a little longer. Oh, what else can I show you? Do you remember I had a couple of old hanging baskets left over and chucked some old tomato plants in, and they're doing really well. It was very nicky-knack, but the option was to throw them out, so not the baskets, but the old tomato plants. They were just leftovers that didn't sell. So that's that. A little maple, you remember us clearing that earlier in the year. I'll be working on the paths soon. I've got room to manoeuvre now. Some troughs, there's a load of alpines I've got here, ready to go into troughs. A little outside potting bench. Do something with these old maples that are just, they're just a mess. They need repotting. There's so much more space now. And again, I've been collecting the plants that I want to grow, and they're all in here, just waiting to be planted up. But obviously the first thing I have to do is get the permanent paths in, get rid of these stones. I know they look rather sort of old and mossy and all the rest of it, but they are quite rough, and I need to put steps in because as I get older I'm not so steady on my feet, and if you stand on these buggers you fall ass over head. So I'm going to put a proper path in with hardcore and steps down. I wonder if you remember in one of the last couple of videos I trialled these lights from the solar centre. They're a festoon, just LED lights. So they've been in a couple of months now, maybe a bit longer. When they arrived, I charged them up through the computer. You just use a USB thing, and they took a couple of hours to charge. I did that, otherwise you'd have to wait for the sun to charge up the battery. And they've been really successful. You know, I was quite happy to tell you that they were a crock of crap if they didn't work. Oh, there's a multi-stem birch. I'm not sure where I'm going to put that yet. Yeah, I'd be quite happy to tell you that they didn't work, but they've done fine. They've done fine. They have been excellent. I'm really amazed at them. They've never been charged with a USB in 2.5 months, and that's it. And it's been fine. I'm just waving at my neighbour. He's working down the bottom. Then there's the little solar panels, and that's it. There's another one of those maples that's just been left for years. I couldn't even remember which one it was. I got it off Matthew as a little graft, and it's just been left in that pot for like years. So we do something with that. Poor little bastard. He's tired as hell. Up towards the house, you can see I've really stripped out along here now. I want to get some there's some spring bulbs in. I haven't got the space, I'm not quite sure what's where, but there's a few little areas. I'd like to just put some spring bulbs in to give some colour this coming spring, because at my age you don't know how many more springs you got. I might not be old at 66, but I have to do the heavy work now, otherwise I might be too knackered in a year or two. Yeah, I'm going to go down here. Again, this path's going to be renewed and steps put in. The primulas, these primulas I've grown up from a collection from a really well-known garden, and they're a collection of candelabras from the best colours. So I need to get those out. There's all sorts of bits and pieces there. Do you remember the pig house? The pig house. Yeah, the ivy's growing back, and I still haven't cleared out the inside of it, but it's not the important thing at the moment. There's the hips of Rosa Moisei. They're doing well. And over here, we'll clear out these stones because they are, yeah, I keep tripping over them. And that's where the new workshop is going, over in that corner where all those old pots are and things. It's quite a big workshop, so it's quite interesting. Here, now look at this. This is just an old hosta. Now there's a seedling of Dactyla rhiza in there. That's worth more than the actual plant. You can see it's a nice spotted leaf one amongst the hosta leaves. Hosta looks pretty boring. Some of these old ferns have to go out. And there's all sorts of bits and pieces in here. Some of the rarer things. There's a peony I've got in there. I've called it tomato soup. It's a lovely peony Delavei, but it's an orangey copper colour. Really nice. Everything has to have a home. And down here is this whole side. I've stripped out all the hazels and things. It looks rather bare at the moment, but it will get planted up. It'll take a few years to recover, but as I say, I'm very happy with it. It's doing very well. So that's your update. We'll get back to some proper stuff in the next couple of weeks. So there you are. Scones and coffee. And another sit down. I think I'm going to get used to this retirement business. Anyway, that's an update. Take care of yourselves, and we'll be back to normal soon. Thank you very much. Now, you may not realise it, but I actually, well, I think I've said before I wanted to be a chef, but I quite enjoy a bit of cooking. I'm a bit rough around the edges at it. But I'm just making a dish of caramelised onions and sausage. But you can tell my wife is from Yorkshire, can't you? I mean, she doesn't waste anything, right? The other day, she made me a cheese and onion sandwich. I particularly like cheese and onion sandwiches. And then she got a takeaway box and saved the remaining onion. Like, why would you save that bit? You'd either put it in the sandwich. They say a Yorkshireman uses what a Scotsman throws away. Well,